Hello and welcome back to the final video of our SEO Fundamentals for Small Business Owners series. We have had a quick look at on-page SEO and off-page SEO, but in this video we're going to dive into the technical side of things before you feel confident that you can start working your way through the workbook. Technical optimization has so many elements, but not all of them are going to be an issue for every website. In recent years, Google has started prioritizing user experience, and because of this, website speed and the compression of your images really matters for your SEO ranking. Additionally, Google have now switched from mobile optimized to mobile first. This means that your site will be judged first on how it appears on mobile and then for other platforms. Elements like schema markup are usually taken care of on the back end of your website, and if you're using any plugins like Yoast, this may be covered automatically. But some really important elements for you to look at are removing or redirecting any broken links, not duplicating any content, and making sure that every page has a unique title and H1 heading. Now, I've also put in this first column minimal hidden pages. Well, what does this mean? When you create a page, you can choose to have it searchable by search engines or to have it hidden. Many people choose to hide pages such as the login pages, and this is completely acceptable. However, if you are blocking multiple pages and hiding lots of content from search engines, they will assume the worst. So it's best practice to minimize this as much as you can. Now, meta descriptions are the text that appears under the title in a search result. This is about 160 characters in an ideal world and should be unique to that page. You want a quick description of what the page relates to. You also very much need to submit a sitemap. A sitemap tells search engines all the pages on your website and how they interlock. I've said here minimal subdirectories. What this means is how many folders you have in the URL. For example, you may have www.yourcompany.com/blog/French/minimalism/ this is my blog post. And that really does overcomplicate things, not only for search engines, but also for users. For everyone, it is best to keep these URLs as short as possible. If you do end up with a URL that is rather lengthy and has to be in a subdirectory, consider setting up a shorter version of it if you're going to need to send it to people regularly and redirecting it. URLs should be a maximum of 120 characters, which is another reason why minimizing the subdirectories is best practice. Meanwhile, your title tag should be 30 to 65 characters. Any less than this, and Google will deem it as not detailed enough. Any more than this, and it will be cut off from the limit on their search results, and they like to show everything. And likewise, your meta description is limited to 160 characters ideally. Anywhere from 130 to 160 is a sweet spot for these. And finally, an SSL certificate. When you look at a website and you have that padlock icon in the URL bar, that shows that it has an SSL certificate. And that means people can feel safe and secure due to the added levels of security on your website. It's certainly something that you absolutely must have if you are selling anything online, as people have become accustomed to check for this padlock for safety. Now, this is one of my bugbears. I've said about hiding as few pages as possible, but there's also the reverse. If you have a page visible and you just cut it off from the rest of the site, you can still be penalized for issues on it. Maybe you create a page, but you're not quite sure which version you like, so you create two versions and then add the one that you decide to go for to the navigation menu. Unless you put the other page back into draft, whilst it's true that people are unlikely to stumble across it, search engines will be able to see it. If it's a different design of the same content, that could mean you're being penalized for duplicated content. If you've not added any links to that page, it could be another penalty for having an orphaned page. And even things like not having a meta description or an H1 tag because it was never a finished page can count against you. So if you're not using a page, put it back to draft. You don't need to delete it, you may want it later on. But sticking things back to draft means that nobody, not even Google, can see it. Fundamentally, it's so important to track your data for SEO. You need to know what keywords are performing and in what regard. Are they bringing people to your website, or are they actually converting into sales? What pages are driving traffic and what keywords are on those pages? Can you tweak them slightly to convert people more? Can you send them to a resource that will send them further into the funnel? Can you create more content that has value that could expand on what you've got? There are loads of tools out there that you can use for tracking, but here I've got some of the easiest ways to track your SEO. Google Analytics is essential for all business owners. If you have a website online, you absolutely should be using Google Analytics. And Page Speed Insights will actually give you a lot more information into speed markers and other things that can domino into your SEO. Wix and Shopify are, of course, dedicated to those platforms. But you'll find that even though you are more limited with tracking on those platforms, there's a lot of data as long as you know where to look. So how do you track your data? Well, make sure you set a reminder, track monthly and quarterly, so that you can try and spot trends and capitalize on them. Creating regular high quality content is essential. Best practice for those who don't have endless time is a minimum of once a month. But the focus really does need to be on high quality content. And if there's a month that you're too busy, make sure that you're keeping old articles up to date. It's usually much quicker to update articles than it is to create fresh content. Make sure you're also noticing, are people visiting and then leaving, or are they converting? It may be that targeting different groups of keywords could produce a different result. And set your own KPIs. You need to know what matters for your business. Set targets that are achievable and measure your progress towards them. We've talked about what you should do, but here are some of the things that you should try to avoid. Don't split keywords across multiple pages. It is much better to create what we call a hub page or some pillar content that covers all areas of a particular topic than it is to have multiple pages ranking lower for the same keywords. Don't keyword stuff. We did talk about this, but Google really has come a long way. You can use keywords naturally. Use synonyms. Don't feel the need to stick it in a dozen times. It doesn't come across naturally and you won't rank better for it. Content has to be relevant to your business and your audience. And this really dominoes into the next item too, which is a reminder not to add your website to unrelated directories or lists. It's so important that you keep your end user in mind and make sure you are adding genuine value for them. Don't focus on vanity metrics. Things like backlinks mean nothing if they link to poor quality sites. And don't ignore how crucial SEO is for getting your business seen online. Hopefully these videos have given you a really good foundation. You'll now find the SEO Fundamentals for Small Business Owners workbook, and I really recommend that you go through this whilst the information is still fresh in your mind. Work through it at your own pace, but you set yourself goals for implementation as well as tracking your success. If you have any questions at any time, you can reach out to us, or you can check out our website for other SEO resources. Thank you for watching, and we hope you've enjoyed it. Here's to your growth.